On this episode, we talk about return rates and the early days of Facebook ad campaigns. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 35 of the AskEngine show. We are excited. I always say we're excited. We're always excited here. It's a startup.
Sure.
Everything is going well. And by well, we mean the office flooded and is now on fire.
Literally right now. It's burning down around us.
Proverbially speaking. We got a lot of things cooking. We've got 2 questions for you today. We're going to jump in and get them answered, and let's go.
Yeah, this first post is from r/ecommerce. And this user is curious to hear from ecom people who have had issues around sizing and returning items due to poor fit. They want to know kind of what products people are selling and what they do and like what the return rates are for misfit products. I know on some of our kind of apparel brands, to reduce return rates, we put very detailed sizing guides by brand on every single product page that talk about, well, here are the exact dimensions, measure it. I've seen other brands have good success with, like, if you like XYZ brand, here's how ours will fit you.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the better ways to do it.
Yeah, we did that, and then we did, so what we tried to do for one of the clients that we worked with is they did a lot of really good work in the creative they did. They would have different models for different, so they'd have one item and they'd have 3 models wear it, and each model was a different size and scope.
That's
so
smart.
One model was 6'3" and 200 pounds. The other model was 5'11". So they tried to cover body types with the models, and then a very prominent sizing guide, very similar to that. And then I've noticed Amazon's been doing it recently, where they say, 86% fit as expected.
Yep.
And I know there's some plugins. So if you're on Shopify or you're on another platform, there are plugins that do this, and they pull from the reviews that you have on your site if you have reviews. I would highly encourage that. A good fit, taking a little bit more effort to really knock home the sizing is worth taking that time and spending that time on the website, to where you don't have to pay back for returns, things of that nature.
And I would say, too, as far as customer service goes, always make sure you're accepting returns for poor fit. There's no better way to kill a customer's interest in your brand is if you say, oh, well, sorry, it doesn't fit. We don't accept returns on those items.
Yeah. And in this question specifically, so he's asking for, specifics of roughly how many percentage of returns. Do you remember any of that from Country Outfitter?
Not from CO. I know from one of our other brands we saw around like a 10% or less return rate, which we thought was okay, especially kind of in the vertical we were operating in. We were expecting a little higher returns, so when it came back that low, we were fine. I know on shoe stores, there's a comment here somewhere that talks about Zappos, 30+% return rate, because shoes are a tougher fit, because a lot of that is on exact the way it feels when you're running, moving, that sort of thing.
Well, and Zappos created that culture. I mean, there's a lot of people that will order 20 pairs of shoes from Zappos and send back 10 of them. It's just kind of the culture that they've created, but they have weighed the LTV of keeping that person versus the return. So they've done the math on it, which I would highly encourage you to do. Even if you're thinking, always accept returns, but if you're thinking about free shipping both ways, things of that nature, you need to test it, but you also need to know the numbers behind it.
Yep, make sure you work it into your model early and try to be as accurate as possible, so you don't end up 6 months down the line
just losing your pants.
Yeah.
Literally.
Question 2, another one from r/ecommerce. It's a Facebook ads question. This user is in the early stage of their company with small Facebook, low spend. They want to know what's the best way to ensure exposure to a new audience.
Yeah, so this is all about exclusions. When you're running, so number one, when you build your audiences within the Facebook dashboard, you need to build in audiences that you have cold, warm, and kind of lukewarm audiences. When you're going after cold audiences, you should be excluding all website visitors last 30 days, the people who have liked your Facebook page, the people who have interacted with other ads or interacted with other pieces of content that you put out. Exclusions are going to help you make sure that the ads that are being served are not being served to people who are already aware of your brand. So that's the number one thing I would say. Number 2, when you're early on testing, you need to test different optimization levels and different windows. So basically, when you're coming in and looking at the optimization levels, you don't want to optimize for purchases right off the gate if you don't have a lot of pixel data. So you may want to optimize for view contents, and then view content, move to add to cart, move from add to cart to initiate checkout. You want to step it down that funnel to build that data. And then also, so your windows, so you have 7-day click, 1-day view. I would mess with those because ultimately you're trying to feed in Facebook enough data within a set parameter for it to know who your audience is and know how quickly someone is coming and clicking on your ad. If I've got a retargeting stack and I know on days 1 to 3 people are taking action 90% of the time on that first day, 1 day after click or view, I'm going to optimize for 1 day click view as opposed to 7. And so that may be a little bit too technical, so I'm sorry if that's super technical, but to answer your question, you need to layer in exclusions. So if you're running a top of funnel cold audience, you need to be layering in people, excluding people who have hit your website in the past 30 days, excluding people who have interacted with your Facebook page, Instagram page, and excluding people who have engaged with your content. That way you're ensuring it's a very cold audience at that point.
Sweet. I've got our question today.
Ooh.
I want to know what your best post-purchase customer experience was, and then what your worst post-purchase customer experience is.
Is that just like you selfishly want to know, or is it what
made
that?
I selfishly want to know because I want to hear kind of our audience's stories, whether it's from the store owner phase, so like nightmare customer, or even from the customer phase, nightmare brand.
Perfect. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.